All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Makar Kwadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. This is going to be another a lesson on another way of the many multitude of ways that you can use the scriptures to prove that the Israelites are the chosen, and that Yahweh is only coming for the Israelites. Yahweh is only sending Yahweh Shai for the Israelites. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art a holy people unto Yahweh thy power. Yahweh thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all nations that are upon the face of the earth. So the scriptures let you know that the Israelites are the chosen, right? But with being the chosen, there also came a responsibility that they had to keep the law. The Israelites had a responsibility that they had to keep the laws. And if they didn't keep those laws, they was going to be punished. But if they did keep them, they would receive blessings. And I'm going to just go to the two scriptures in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, that show that. I'm going to start with the first one, which is on how the Israelites would get blessed if they kept the laws. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that Yahweh thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Jump down to verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So Yahweh gave the Israelites a choice of two ways, but they chose the wrong way by sinning against Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. And earlier on in the scriptures, Israelites were warned about these things. This is Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 26. I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall soon utterly perish from off the land whereunto you go over to Jordan to possess it. Ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. And Yahweh shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen. With it Yahweh shall lead you, and ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But if from thence thou shalt seek Yahweh thy power, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul. So the Israelites were warned that they would basically go off from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. But then they was also told that if they seek him in those places that they were scattered, that they was going to get taken out of that place, and Yahweh would hear them. And then again in the same book, it mentions these things again. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all nations, whither Yahweh thy power hath driven thee, and thou shalt return unto Yahweh thy power, and thou shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul. So what verse 1 says is that the Israelites was going to go through the blessings and the curse. And if we were still in the phase where we were just still getting the blessings, that would mean that all of the stuff that the Israelites went through, the Atlantic slave trade, all the different stuff that they went through in America, how the Latin tribes, so-called Latin tribes, was slayed in America, all that stuff would still be waiting to happen to us. So really, it's a good thing that all of that stuff's happened to us, because now it's already came to pass. And now we're just waiting for the salvation to come. That's what we're waiting for. We ain't really waiting for many more curses. We're already under them all now. We've already been through the curses. We're waiting for the curses to be taken off us and to be put onto our enemies. Verse 3, which is happening right now. Verse 3, that then Yahweh thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all nations, whither Yahweh thy power have scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out to the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahweh thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And Yahweh thy power will bring thee into a land which thou fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And Yahweh thy power will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed to love Yahweh thy power with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And that circumcision of the heart comes through the new covenant. That where we're going to have our minds changed and the laws are going to be put within our heart and within our mind. But that's not promised to nobody else. Verse 7, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and upon them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So all these other nations are waiting to receive the same things that made us a laughing stock, the same things that made these nations laugh at us. Oh, black people kill black people. Oh yeah, you're all in the ghettos, you can't get a job. Look at your women are fat and all of this. Your women don't like their own hair, they wear weaves and all this shit, right? That's the same things that's going to make them a laughing stock. They ain't going to like their women, ain't going to like their own image. And their women ain't going to like the men. The Edomite woman is going to be cussing out the Edomite man when they're in them pits, getting their backs whipped in slavery by underneath the Israelites. The Edomite woman's going to be bunning him out and cussing him. And the Edomite man's going to have no strength to say anything. And the Edomite woman's going to be wishing that she could be with a Israelite man, and she's not going to get the chance to. A lot of them as well. They're not going to get the chance to even be concubines. A lot of them, they're going to just be getting slave treatment, like how the Israelite woman was. Let me carry on with this. This is Revelation chapter 7 and verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and they were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. These are people that are waiting, that have to be sealed in order for the salvation to come for the Israelites. And jumping down to verse 7, there's also a great multitude of Israelites also that are waiting to be saved. Verse 7 to like verse 9. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hand. But what people want to try and push is that people are Edomites, but the scriptures all throughout the book speak of Israelites, salvation for Israel, and for salvation being for Israelites that are scattered and gathered from everyone on the earth. So don't believe the lies. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem HaKakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom.